But again, the long-term and short-term all has to be part of that conversation so the public knows where we're headed.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, where are we? Trustee
So
Watts.
I would say then, for the May meeting, would we be able to have, because this was extremely helpful,
Yes, I agree.
but would we be able to have something for the May meeting that takes the verbiage of bond versus sinking fund versus these other sort of terminologies that we're using and really break it down to the simplest form? Because even with this is still overwhelming for the public. And so I guess if for those individuals who'd be watching the May meeting and or just to be able to explain it, could we have it so that it's even broken down more? If that makes any sense, just the difference.
Yeah.
Okay, just because I'd rather get more information with all of that than not enough, I guess. If we're talking about, that's what I'm hearing, like the difference between bond, sinking fund, millage.
But I don't know that we would need to bring in anything that we're not considering, just so we
That's
reduce
why
the confusion. So when we're talking about
Right.
like the voted versus non-voted versus energy conservation, we're not talking energy conservation right now.
No.
We like the idea, it's in the future, but don't even confuse them with it.
No, and I guess that's the other thing, I just want to make it clarified, because at this point, I mean, I know it's, 8:50, and my head is overwhelmed by all of these various terms. And for me to then turn around and explain it, I need candy and chocolate, because my blood sugar's dropping. But, I've got,
You got them right there.
I
know, I
I've got chocolate. I've got some with me.
Yeah, I know.
That
Okay.
looks like the Easter basket.
So,
Yeah,
moving
a lot of
forward
stuff,
then,
yeah.
am I hearing that we do not think a April 25th meeting is necessary?
I don't think we'll have the information that
We
will
don't-
help
we
us
have
move
to wait for the
forward.
information to come in.
Okay,
I would, not make that.
However, I think the administration is going to be in full force of gathering a lot of information
Right.
from the community and doing the town halls, and I would love to join some town halls just to listen. And so
well, we
those
get
are
all that
very,
information.
those are still very important for us to make a decision, because I don't want to throw it out there that we're not doing anything in November, because there is a potential that we will come to the voters and ask for some kind of proposal to help us with immediate needs.
And I would like to, when we do these town halls, talk about misinformation, and if people are going to jump to the assumption that we're going for a whole full bond kind of thing, and we've already, we're going to confuse them more with the questions that we have. If we say, do you want, A, B, and C out of this list? Do you want new schools? Do you want this? Do you want that? And to bring back to us, but then we've all come to the conclusion that we don't think we can be prepared in time, and we would rather go to a sinking fund. And this information is something we are going to use down the road.
Yeah.
We have to be pretty clear in the communication at these town halls, because people are then gonna say, well, what was this, a bait and shift, kind of thing, where you throw one thing out and then you bring something else to the ballot kind of thing.
I think it's pretty clear that, listening to our committee, and by the way, we have a committee member here that's been sitting here through the whole meeting. Liana, thank you for your service. But, we heard from the committee, and, it was not like, this is what we want, and it was a unanimous vote. And, there was two members that presented to us, but when we individually heard from other committee members, some that were not happy.
But the
some-
committee was a committee, we have 70,000 voters. I mean,
Correct.
77.
30 people versus who we communicated with versus the broader audience. They're gonna hear something
You're right.
different.
I'm just
And
addressing.
I just want to make sure that they don't feel that we've said one thing and then are doing another without full clarity at these town halls, that we are still in the decision-making process.
And that's
And
what
we are just
transparency looks like. Yes.
gathering opinions
Yes.
from the community at large. I just want it very clear that we're not saying you get A or B,
No,
and then we throw C at them.
And I think to make that it clear too, that the possibility would be that we would go for a smaller sinking fund just to address immediate needs, why we get all of our ducks in a row for something larger to address our larger needs.
And that was discussed with the committee. Some
But like
committee
I'm
members.
saying,
But
the
the
committee's
community,
one
yeah.
thing, the community, the bigger community, because that's what we heard in 2019 is,
Madam
we had people saying, we didn't know there was a bond and we had been talking about it and you just threw it out at us in August and we're like, well, that's not true. There's a lot of people don't digest all this information under the same kind of formats. So, you know, making the assumption that because some people in the community are well-informed and are paying attention and others might miss a lot of this conversation, I want to make sure that whoever does attend the town halls isn't coming and getting some kind of information that they're spreading to their next door neighbors that then looks different when we present it on the ballot. And then come back again on another ballot.
Trustee Moses?
Thank you, Madam President. It's always great to hear from constituents, whether you're going to a chatting with the superintendent meeting or you're shopping groceries, or somebody phones you and they have access to you. I believe those, listening sessions, we're listening to ideas. It doesn't hurt that we already are thinking right now about a decision. Again, Trustee Barry said he may change his mind if somebody comes and says, we need new schools that built this year. If he gets that overwhelming call, I think he will change his mind. I will probably too. However, it's very important to set the expectations right, as Trustee Petrikov mentioned. We're not here just to test the waters. We're here to actually listen to what you would like. We want to come up with a vision that is overarching, that is something that everybody, I'm pretty sure you won't get everybody in line, but you get at least the majority of the community, and that's how you win, because you engage folks in the discussion. We're not bringing just proposals and say you choose one or two or three. Eventually, we will have to do that. But for these three choices to be made, they were made with thought, they were made with engaging folks into the conversation, and they feel genuinely that they contributed to this solution. They actually own it. They will, be our ambassadors for those who would attend. They would be our ambassadors to their other constituents who were not able to attend. And that's where we need to meet people where they are and talk to the people and get their feedback in multiple ways, whether it's online, it's in person, and we get as many people as possible to chime in. And I know it's going to be a lot of ideas, as Trustee Thorpe mentioned, but it's going to be good information that's going to help us even down the line. It might not help us this year, but it will definitely help us for the next few years, because we're not going anywhere. Our districts, our buildings here will stay for a very long time, but we want to make sure that we get the right decision and we make it right. And if there's something, a small proposal, just to get the small, I don't want to call them small because there are things that are major. And with raising a sinking fund is a possibility that we need to look into. You will bring in money to the district that will keep, the money flowing so that we can address those major
Immediate.
issues, address
The immediate needs
overcrowding.
and-
Address overcrowding, address, perhaps one addition to some elementaries or addition to some high schools, wherever we see the major need. And we could combine that, you combine the sinking fund with a little bit of money coming from the general fund, and also
Enhanced.
the
The enhancement.
the enhancement fund. There are multiple ways, and we package this together so we can make sure that when we come for a bond, meaning when I'm thinking bond, again, I think of my childhood as Gare Park is being built. I think of what are the schools that we're built into? Yeah.
McCullough, Eunice,
McCullough,
Deer-
Eunice,
Deer
so
Park.
many. So what I'm thinking
Miller.
about brick and mortar, things that we're gonna be seeing, this is when I say bond. And I think for infrastructure, seems like, from my understanding, a sinking fund is better because you don't need all of the money right away with a infrastructure repairs or major repairs. So you would be getting the money, we would be expecting the money every year to come, and then we would put it into this school, we would put it in this school. And that could be prioritized based on the need and to be equitable across the district. Thank you.
Okay,
Trustee
I'll
Betchko.
give my wisdom of many years on the board and on task force for that really big bond in 2001, 2. You don't want to come out repeatedly to the taxpayers with a proposal on school funding every year, about proposals. That's doesn't sit well with the community at large. I think what we need to stress is the short-term, long-term visions. And that what we do this year will be for the short-term needs, immediate critical infrastructure needs, and the long-term vision will be the next time we come to them with a proposal that has been well-crafted and supported by the full board in such a fashion that we think the community can get behind it. But you don't want to do that over multiple periods of years. You want this now, and that's what I want to make sure that we communicate with people. If that's a direction we go, I don't know that that's the direction we go, but if that's the direction that we want to take in come May, if we're all on board with that, then we have Plan A and Plan B in place, and we don't have a lot of other things that we try to stretch this out and continue to go back and back and back again, because people don't accept that we keep coming to them and asking and asking and asking.
Well, it depends how much you ask.
No, it doesn't matter.
No,
You keep
that's
coming
all
back
you're
at
asking.
them.
That's all. She's right.
We're gonna be
You
always
keep
asking. I think
you keep coming back to them every election cycle with an ask. You're gonna get a lot of
Oh,
no's.
of course, yeah. I don't think that we want to make that habit.
Yeah.
But we definitely, again,
You make sure these asks count.
these asks are definitely reasonable and within reason.
All right,
I'm done.
okay. Next item then.
I think that
That
was the
was it?
last.
That's
Oh.
adjournment.
Oh, you know what,
Adjournment, okay.
You mentioned we don't have board
We were gonna
business
add,
on here. If somebody wanted to say something. I would
Oh,
like to-
yes, that's right.
But before that, are we still meeting for April? So is that off the
Regular
table?
meeting.
The regular meeting in April?
Maybe, oh.
Oh, you
That's a
mean
good question.
April 25th?
Yes.
I don't think that's necessary.
No,
Is
with this
that how-
agenda. it was
We,
not-
we
everything was taken
covered a
care of.
lot of the things that would normally been on the
So
April.
if that's off the
Yeah.
table, that's no longer a meeting.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing we didn't get to were presentations, but we did the action items, so there's no business the board would need to do.
And if
But
there's
some
a-
of the presentations that you had
There's
requested
a
are just
college
the-
board meeting next week, so if
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
something.
You have to. Okay, yes, this was a hybrid meeting. There is not the general, board commentary, but, if anyone has any commentary.
It wasn't a commentary, it was acknowledgement correspondence.
Oh, okay,
correspondence. I
acknowledgement
know
of correspondence,
You
go
were on
ahead.
that email and a few others, it was, an email from a teacher that resigned from the district.
Yes,
It was very courageous of her to
Yes,
send us that
absolutely.
email, so I just want to acknowledge that we received it. I don't know if anybody answered her or not. I
Yes.
just want to acknowledge that we received it. I'm not mentioning.
Well,
it.
that was her exit survey, so I don't know that it required a response or not, but
Yeah, it
that's
was an
not
exit
my.
survey.
I just want
Yeah.
to let it be known that we
Yeah.
received it, and I read it a
Yeah.
few times, and
I did too.
as did I, and it was, I
Yeah.
will say, it was courageous of her to
Yes,
come through forward with her thoughts. Trustee Thorpe,
I also had received an email that was forwarded to me by Ms. Jafer from Whitmore Bowles from a class. It sounded like it was individually sent over to me about a field trip, and they were,
There were a couple of them that.
yeah, just letting you know that I'd gotten one about a field trip. They were looking for info.
Oh, one other thing then, we hadn't had any committee meetings, but we did have a city relations committee meeting.
No,
We approved,
discussed
we
that,
approved the
yeah.
minutes.
We
We
discussed,
approve the minutes.
Yeah,
Did we?
yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, it's been a long, long month.
No, she's right, we didn't report, but I can report next meeting.
Okay, we'll report next meeting then.
We
Okay.
approved the minutes, but we didn't report.
Yeah, we had the meetings, we didn't have a report.
Cool.
Next meeting. Okay, we're all good. Oh, wait, trustee Short.
Talk about presentation, let us know when you're gonna want us to do a presentation from the NSBA conference that we talked about earlier.
Probably, if this needs to be done,
July.
yeah, I'm thinking,
Way
I'm
down the
thinking June is what, or May?
No,
No,
not May.
I mean, June is what I'm thinking, June,
That's fine.
I'd say July.
it's probably
July?
mid-July, we might be backed up.
Yeah,
August.
that's fine. There's no rush on it. Get
Yeah.
your thoughts
I
together
will
and,
forget things by June.
I'm gonna forget, I already
Thought you
forgot
put your
things. I'm already-
PowerPoint
I
together
took
as we
photos,
speak.
I took videos, that will help me remember.
yeah, well, put a little PowerPoint
see.
together, but
Sure,
present it in June. Yeah, we have some pressing things on our plate, so, okay, thank you everyone for your time, and we are adjourned.
Thank you. Good discussion.